So a question that we get a lot is, what kind of software should a real estate agent be using? What's a good general guideline? And so in this video, I want to be able to answer that and actually give you 3 softwares that every agent should be using from day one. Now, the recommendations in this video are mainly based on real estate businesses, predominantly real estate agents, but a lot of what you're about to hear here and the points I'm going to make about the softwares I recommend are going to pertain to other professions as well, especially if you're self-employed.
Disclaimer, Rottweiler Tax is not associated with any of the companies or software mentioned here. It's just what works.
Now, the most basic thing you're going to need, as you already know, is a way to track your income and expenses, and I actually recommend QuickBooks Online. I would say 95% of real estate professionals, agents and brokers alike, can get along just fine with a software like this. I would say unless you have a bunch of different business entities, there's really no reason to use QuickBooks Desktop. QuickBooks Online is always going to be the best choice. It's fairly straightforward to use. It's inexpensive to actually set it up since it's monthly as opposed to an annual fee. So in most cases, QuickBooks Online is going to get the job done very well. Now, there are some drawbacks. I mean, QuickBooks Online is a heavy software sometimes where it doesn't want to load very quickly. Little things like that can pop up, but there's just so much more responsibility that comes with having QuickBooks Desktop in terms of preserving your data. It's just not worth the hassle to deal with unless you can justify using QuickBooks Desktop. So the next software I'm going to recommend is something called MileIQ. You've probably already heard of it. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you're aware that there's actually 2 ways to deduct auto expenses. The most basic way is to use mileage. But even if you're going to deduct your actual expenses, you want to still have tracking for your mileage. And the reason for that is when we go to do the tax return, we actually still need to put down mileage even if you're going to take the actual expenses. We need to be able to record the total miles as well as the total business miles. So having something like MileIQ is going to make it very easy for you to track that. And likewise, if you're keeping things simple and just deducting mileage, the MileIQ is going to make that so much easier for you. No fiddling with notebooks. It's much better that way. Now, the third and last software I want to recommend is going to actually be Excel. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you've heard me talk about how Excel is not an acceptable way to track your expenses and your income. So you're probably thinking, well, Daniel, why are you recommending that? And the reason I recommend it is because even though it's not great for creating P&Ls to complete your tax return necessarily, at least it's not the best choice of how to do that, even though a lot of people do, it's great for other things, like creating budgets or just creating basic expense reports for a certain time period. If you need something that's going to automatically add up the numbers for you just to punch a few things in and get a basic understanding of where you are with a certain thing, you know, Excel is very malleable. And if you want us to make a video showing you how to actually set up an Excel spreadsheet to auto-calculate numbers for you, leave a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, or send us an email to info@rottweilertax.com. If you have a Mac, you also have a program called Numbers on your computer. That functions very similarly. So if you don't have Excel, the actual Microsoft product, Numbers is a good alternative as well. Back in the day, we used to use OpenOffice a lot, although recently I've heard more and more complaints about it. So using one of those two is probably going to be the most ideal. That's going to pretty much wrap up this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if you need our help implementing these softwares and other tax tactics in your business, give us a call or schedule an appointment with us. I'll see you in the next video.